Before the flow state comes, you have to know where you're going. And for every rider to have ever raced the mountain course, they all have one thing in common. In some way, shape or form, at some point in time, they all had to learn it.
It's gnarly to try to learn this. I can't imagine trying to learn all the twists and turns, and it's hard enough to do that on a 2-minute course rather than 17-minute, 18-minute, 37-mile course.
This is a much bigger challenge than people realize it is.
You have 300 plus corners where every single one of them can kill you.
Think of all the things they're having to memorize. It's incredible. It's incredible. And knowing where you're at, not getting confused on the track again, and having to be in that moment. It's incredible how they learn the race course.
It's incredible, really. And I think, again, the work that goes on behind the scenes to get these guys up to speed as soon as they can, familiarise themselves as soon as they can. It's, I say, all this that goes on, it's not just a case of, like the old days, just turning up, maybe driving around in your van for a few laps the week before.
Most of the riders learning the course now compared to how it was back in the day, it's like chalk and cheese.
Speak to John McGuinness, he come here and he just got set off down, literally saying, no one cared what he knew, what bike he was on. Do you know what I mean? He could have come with something with a rocket strapped to the side of it and nobody cared.
Yeah, like when my dad came, they were like, there's the track, it goes that way.
In those days, that's what happened. It wouldn't happen now.
There was no such thing as newcomers laps and things. We were just out in the thick end of it.
I think I had Philip McCallan on a bus in '96. Pissing rain, couldn't even see out the windows. I was sat bobbing up and down at back of bus and Philip McCallan's telling everybody, this is fucking flat out here, this is fucking flat out there. Couldn't understand a word he said.
Back when I started, there was none of this shit here, you know what I mean? There's no, all the channels and onboards.
I didn't go around in a car 100 times and all that, and there was no computer games.
There was no Milky, Johnny Barton trips over in the hire car and, guiding you around. It was.
I think that's just the change of times, isn't it? It's not that people then didn't care, they just didn't know any different, and that's the way it always was type thing until these guys turned up and said, right, we need to make a plan here and move the thing forward.
The more help that riders can get, particularly as a newcomer, and from people like Johnny, Milky.
We know what catches people out and where it catches people out and why it catches people out, and we just give them all that information.
You've got to do your own work, you've got to do your preparation. You can't do it half-hearted, so you have to effectively come through us and learn the track. We instigated a course that you have to come through me and Barty to at least keep you safe, at least survive the, because it is dangerous shit, isn't it? It's not tiddly. I often say it's not tiddlywinks, it's dangerous shit. And
I think it really is important, and it's been going for probably about 15 years now. Me and Milky have been doing it.
Yeah, it's super important, so much knowledge that people need.
It's absolutely brilliant. You can't meet two more enthusiastic people about it.
They obviously know what they're doing. They're the best guys at what they do. They know the course inside out, but they're passionate about it as well.
Yeah, those guys, that kind of level of information is pretty invaluable.
They're able to teach you because they've raced around there themselves at really fast speeds as well.
We can't tell, I can't tell Josh Brooks, Steve Plater, Hickman how quick they go. I can't do it. These are top class riders, but what me and Milky can give them, we can give them the tools to do the job easier and safely.
I wish I had that when I come. I didn't get that at all. It was just turn up and go.
It's so important to the event to have people prepared to give their time and experience to newcomers.
You can go to a regular racetrack and have 16 corners, and if you have an off at this track or this corner or that corner, it's going to be bad. Very few people crash to the TT and get up and walk away. It doesn't matter how quick you're going. So you got to take in whatever information you can get from whatever source. Always take it on board.
It's not just about ability. They've got to have the mental state to do it. They've got to have the infrastructure around them, the team around them. So it's all those sort of things that come into play when we decide whether we're going to kind of let them have a go or not.
before they close the roads, you must do your homework. So if you're going to learn this place for real, then you have to come and put the miles in when the roads are open.
So for my first year, I came over in a car. I did 7 trips, 2 days every trip, at least 5 laps a day.
I came as often as I could.
I did a lot of laps around, over 100 laps, I think, in a car, which takes a long time, with Milky, Johnny Barton.
Like Milky and Johnny were awesome. I think every morning I did a lap with Johnny. He would meet me at the grandstand and we'd jump in his van and I just said nothing.
I did mainly laps with Milky, actually, more than Johnny.
Milky's laps are incredible.
Milky talks at 100 mile an hour underwater with a mouthful of marbles.
That's the Christmas tree. There's 2 dogs' heads on here. There's a pink wall there. There's a blah, blah, blah. There's a manhole there. There's a cover there. There's a fuck. I'm lost. I'm like, what?
It's 37 3/4 miles of road track that they've got to learn, basically. And as much as we can help, it's all got to come from them.
Just get it so you get repetitive strain injury in your brain. That's all you're looking for, so you know when you see that part of the track, you know where you instantly are.
So all we say to them, you've just got to make sure you know where it goes left and right, where the pitfalls are. Like me and Milky, once they come over, we'll say, look, this catches people out, and this is why it catches people out. So it's all that kind of information, and it is a lot of information, and it's quite daunting at first, but the more you kind of learn, the more you kind of come back and visit the island and go around the track, the more everything fits into place.
When you first come over, you've got to learn the course driving in a car or a bike, just doing laps so you've got the general gist of corners, of what's coming up and how much of a severity of a corner it sort of is.
I tried a few times to ride a bike around, but you know, it's freezing cold, it's fog, it's often rain. I found the motorcycle approach irrelevant. It didn't apply to what I was trying to do. So heater on, music on, drive the car as many laps as you can and just make it feel like that road between your house and work.
I suppose at the end of the day, if you're doing 100 laps, you're going to know where you're going, aren't you? Because it's like going to work. You know your way to work when you go every day.
This is a living, breathing island. People live here. Motorcycle racers live here. So when the race is on your doorstep, you'd be absolutely crazy not to take advantage.
I was in quite a fortunate situation, really, that obviously I'm a Manxman, born and bred here, lived here all my life.
Mainly living here makes you know where you're going.
You're a step ahead of everyone else as a newcomer.
As you know, being born and bred here, you sort of grow up with it, going to school, and whether it's on the bus or taking a trip out with your dad in the car, whatever it might be, you're on that TT course a lot of the time. I actually lived on the course in Kirkmichael.
I used to work in Douglas, lived in Ramsey, so I thought, right, I'll get up in the morning, drive to work over the mountain, finish work, back home, ran the rest of the course. So I was doing laps every day.
I was a road warrior, you know, I used to go out on the road when as soon as I was 16, got my road bike, I would go out and smash the miles in, and all my mates would be like, you coming down the pub? I'm like, no, I just want to go for a lap. And that's how I picked it up, really, was just going out on a Sunday afternoon, bouncing off cars and buses and trucks and, you know, with my mates, just boshing over the mountain.
If I lived here, there'd be the odd night, it's a nice night or something, and the roads are quiet, it's like 9 o'clock, but it's still a bit light, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go do a lap. Well, you can't do that if you don't live here.
That's advantage locals. Living here is the ultimate TT trump card for a newcomer. And if you've been under Milky and Johnny Barton's wings too, then you're going to be absolutely golden. So what of the old guard? Molly was way ahead of his class. But what if you had no school to go to? You still need to learn, right? So, how did John really do his homework?
I rode around it. I came in 1989 on my Teaser R125 Yamaha, 17-year-old. I went round and round and round and round and round and round. Then I came back in 1990 on my KLS 250 Kawasaki, went round and round and round on it. I sort of read the books. I just studied it best I could, you know.
And then obviously at that time there wasn't a lot of onboards, but there was Joey Dunlop's V for Victory had come out.
Cassette, VHS.
What's it like to go around the Isle of Man quick?
Well, it's not so bad. If you put a camera on the tank, I'll show you what it's all about.
I just watched it so many times, you know.
But that was it really, so didn't have a lot of options back then to learn.
There were onboard videos.
There'd have been odds and sods, but they weren't anything.
Nothing like they do now at all. Like,
well, I didn't start till 08, which is quite a while back, which was sort of pre-YouTube, and I would put DVDs on my laptop and watch a lap nearly every day.
You wouldn't get it to the extreme now. You just click an onboard at TT and I know many comes up, you know, there'd be hundreds, no doubt.
And they're so lucky these days. You speak to the newcomers, they've got so many different types of aids.
You've got onboards in 4K. You've got video games that replicate the bumps, the lumps, the turns, the braking points.
One of the biggest things for me was playing the PlayStation game.
Yeah, so for me, I played the PlayStation 2 game a lot.
I did a lot of laps on the TT game.
I think it's a great thing to use to learn the TT course because you learn it at speed. Sure, using a controller isn't the same as riding a bike in real life, but for learning the course, all the bumps are there, all the corners are there, the curbs, hedges, trees.
It was really accurate, like even down to the kind of flowers that the people had on the side of the houses. Like I remember the top of Bagarro, the left-hander, there was always this terracotta pot that was there, and it was in the game.
It's the same, the laser scan the course, so it's like an exact representation of what we're seeing when we're racing around there. So you genuinely can learn every detail about the TT course while you're playing the game, and I thought that was a super important thing for learning the TT course for me.
Yeah, if that's your thing and you enjoy gaming, then you can understand that they can learn quite a bit from the game.
You got me the game for Christmas, didn't you? That didn't work very well. We had the PlayStation game for Christmas and I'm not very good on it. It takes me about 40 minutes to do a lap. It's good, the graphics and that. I'd not played them since I was a kid, and the graphics come on and it looks detailed, but I just can't get around the first corner with it. It takes me a while, so. No, we're just watching onboard most nights, don't we?
Learning the course was watching a lot of onboards.
So I'd watch onboard laps as well.
I watched the odd one, yeah. Didn't get too carried away with it.
I was watching onboards, but I really couldn't get any value from the onboards. At the time, I didn't understand why. I just didn't relate to anything. I couldn't make it make sense. But after I'd completed a lap on my bike in closed roads, like the proper first closed roads practice I did, as soon as I'd done that one lap, then from that moment on, then onboard footage became valuable.
To learn off an onboard video, you sort of need to know it.
You have to come and ride to feel it. And then once you feel it, then you understand when people say stuff. So before, like I used to get kids come up to me and go, oh, I want to know how to do this now. And I'm like, you haven't even rode a lap yet. You've literally been sat on your sofa watching an onboard. If you fall asleep, it doesn't matter. If you blink when you're riding the bike, do you know what I mean? It's not a good outcome. So you need to feel all these bumps and jumps. And then when someone says, oh, how do you get through there? And you go, oh, well, do you know, if you go out to this curb and you miss this drain and you cross the white line and the bike's off camber and, you know, all these things, you have to feel all these things for it to make sense.
You don't know till you ride it. You can drive over it a million times in your car at 40 mile an hour, 50 mile an hour. When you ride it on your bike, you go, whoa.
Nothing ever prepares you for when you really have a crack at it. Like, that road gets real narrow, really narrow. In some sections, you just like, I have no idea what I'm doing here, but then there are other sections where it comes to you and you just got to treat it like a regular racetrack. Like, understand the parts that you're good at, focus on the stuff that you're not good at, work those up to that point, and then move on.
It'll all be different on the day when we set off down that hill. It'll look completely different and we'll be lost, but you've got to prepare to fail. Fail to prepare, so.
You don't learn it till you get here. You don't learn it until you practically do it. You go around, you know, you can watch it on board, and you know it's left, you know it's right. You know what's coming up. But you don't feel it. You don't feel the wind. You don't feel the, you know, the shadows, the trees. You know, you don't see any of that. You know, it's just a case of time.
Time. It's a funny old thing, time. There's an old wives' tale that says it takes 3 years to learn the TT mountain course. Is that true? Can you ever really master these roads? Do you ever stop learning?
I wouldn't say I'm learning the course still. I can tell you the course pretty much inside out right now. I could talk you from the start line back to the finish line.
For Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop to do what they do, they must know it better than anything else they know in their lives.
I could sit down here now in my mind and I can tell you everywhere.
Where I want to be, what bumps there are, what drains there are, what curbs there are, trees, houses, walls. I can talk you around it.
Every year you learn more and more and more. It's not in terms of like you remember a corner. I remember every corner. I think I remember every bump.
This track bit's the same, but just little curb balls.
Because it's a public road, it's used all year round. It's evolving permanently, isn't it?
The other thing I keep saying about the TT course, it evolves. It's a living, breathing thing.
It's never the same twice. You come back to it the following year, something's changed.
They might be resurfacing out in areas, or they might have dug a hole or something that's been repatched.
You know, 1 year somewhere will be bumpy, then we get it resurfaced, and then bumps will appear somewhere else. So every year, the course is slightly different.
They're taking hedges away here and building houses there, and it's funny how the shitty bits add up to thinking the actual place has changed when it hasn't actually changed, because you go down the road, turn right, you go down that road, turn right. You know, it's not that thing, but then wee bits there all add up to, it's an optical illusion, is that what they call it, where things are the same, they look just different.
It could change the whole peripheral vision of that corner. So you learn every year there's something always going to be different.
Yeah, you're always learning. Every time you go out, you'll pick something else up and you'll think, like, I need to avoid that. Or
you think yourself, oh, well, I'll push on a wee bit here now because there's no wall to go into anymore.
I still learn now. You still learn different bits now, or different tricks, or you pick speed up, or it puts a different spin on the next bit.
When you do so many laps, you'll always find another wee place to, you know, oh, fuck, I didn't know that, you know what I mean? Or, you know, it'll always something will come to you.
Year to year, there's some more bumps or less bumps or resurfacing or whatever. After that, it's more about what I'm doing with the bike and what I want to change.
You never give up learning. And I think when that day comes, you're going to be vulnerable because you've always got that respect for the place. You think, oh, you know, bite in a breath. So
you're really vulnerable when you're first starting out, because you can really make a big mistake without making a big mistake. You can have a big consequence for a very small mistake. It's probably more what I'm trying to say.
You spend about 95% of your life making sure you're going right and left at the start to make sure you don't get smashed up, you know what I mean? And then once you get to know right and left, you're then learning the next wee bits, the tricks of the trade sort of thing.
that's why you've got to be open and got to keep learning. Just keep unlocking them doors and it starts to come to you.
I think you've got to be continuously learning, otherwise you're not going forward.
Hence why you ideally want to keep going faster, but me, every year I go a bit faster every time I get out there. I'm learning every time, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot of things about the course and where I can be a little bit faster. And
it's mega that people, human endeavour, keeps shoving it on. It's never like enough's enough, is it? Which is a cool thing about motorsport and cool thing about TT. People just keep sneaking a bit and finding a bit because there's so much to find.
Every time you go a mile an hour quicker, the track changes. The corner, you're arriving at a corner at different speed, different position, different lean angle, different G-forces. A small bump becomes a big bump, a G-out becomes a launch ramp. Everything's changing. So as soon as you go a mile an hour quicker, the course changes all over again and you start the process.
it was definitely something special for me to get a 130 lap.
It seems to be a target, doesn't it? These riders are like, it's a massive personal target for them to do 130.
I can understand a 130 mile an hour lap. I think it's not unattainable.
It's a fast lap. 130 is a fast lap. 36s is another stratosphere.
Well, go on then. How fast can we go?
There's no doubt about it. We're getting closer and closer to the high 130s, and that is the facts of it. It's just getting quicker. It really is.